And Black Friday begins, but will rising inflation deter shoppers? I'll be speaking to the Chief Executive of Barclaycard. Good morning, this is Ian King live and our business and economic news from the heart of the city. Well, the day's top business stories in just a moment, but first a little bit of breaking news and the latest on the diplomatic row between the United Kingdom and France after 27 people died on Wednesday attempting to cross the English Channel. In the last few moments, the French President Emmanuel Macron has spoken publicly and criticised Boris Johnson's handling of the crisis.
I'm surprised by the methods when they're not serious. We do not communicate from one leader to another on these issues by tweets and letters that we make public. We are not whistleblowers.
Well, more on that story throughout the day here on Sky News. But now, European stock markets have plunged this morning amid concerns over a new COVID-19 variant. Well, the FTSE 100 opened by more than 3% lower, wiping some £65 billion from the value of the UK stock market. Well, it follows the decision of the UK and other European governments to impose fresh travel restrictions on 6 African countries. They're South Africa, Botswana, Eswatini, that's the new name for Swaziland, Lesotho, Namibia and Zimbabwe. Let me talk you through what's been going on in the markets this morning. As you can see, the oil price has been one of the main ways in which investors can react to the new variant. Concerns over a fall in demand have sent the price lower. A barrel of Brent crude right now, $77.71 a barrel. That is down nearly 5.5%. On the equity markets, well, the rout began overnight on markets in the Asia-Pacific region, where Tokyo, Mumbai and Hong Kong all fell by more than 2%, with Sydney and Shanghai also lower. In Europe, markets opened sharply to the downside a couple of hours ago at the open. Here's the current situation there, all of them down by more than 2.5%. The biggest faller there, as you can see, the IBEX in Madrid off some 3.5%. The CAC 40 in France off by almost 3.5% as well. In terms of the major fallers in Europe, well, Amadeus, which is the IT provider to much of the travel and tourism sector, its shares are off 11% in Madrid. Lufthansa, Germany's flag-carrying airline, their shares are down some 11% right now in Frankfurt. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 also in negative territory, currently off some 2.75%. The leading fallers include International Airlines Group, that is, of course, the owner of British Airways, and Aer Lingus, and Melrose, the aircraft parts supplier. Both of those down very heavily. In fact, IAG, its shares were off some 21% at the open, although they have slightly recovered since then. They're off about 11% right now. Outside the FTSE, it's a similar situation. The biggest fallers include the likes of EasyJet and TUI, both of those down sharply. There you can see IAG and Melrose. Melrose down nearly 8%, big aircraft and car parts manufacturer. Outside the FTSE, as I say, big declines in the likes of EasyJet, currently off some 9.5%. TUI, the tour operator, off some 7%. A couple of the other leisure stocks worth mentioning there. Cineworld, which of course had a terrible pandemic, had to raise emergency funding. Its shares off some 4% right now. And Rank Group, the owner of Grosvenor Casinos and Mecco Bingo, its shares off some 3% right now. Well, on the foreign exchange markets, an interesting situation there. The pound has largely remained unchanged against the US dollar, which can often be a safety play on these events. Sterling more or less unchanged there against the dollar, but as you can see on the screen there, it's off by just over 0.5% right now against the euro. Well, earlier, the Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, spoke to Sky News about why the government had to act so quickly.
It's important to make sure that you do act immediately, and in doing so, you get to slow things down in terms of potential entry into the country, and that gives us a bit of time for the scientists to work on sequencing the genome, which involves growing cultures and takes several weeks to do, so we can find out how significant a concern this particular variant is. So it is a safety-first approach. We've done that before with things like the mink variant from Denmark, and we're then able to relax it reasonably quickly, and I think it's a preference for doing that rather than waiting and seeing until it's too late. We do have a plan B, which is well publicised, that if we need to go to that, we will, and that includes mask wearing everywhere and the like, and more besides.
Well, let's have a closer look now at the market reaction. I'm joined by the Associate Investment Director at Killick & Co, Rachel Winter. Rachel, very good morning to you. I mean, this is all over a variant that's stopped travel from 6 African countries. Is this a bit of an overreaction on the market?
Difficult to say so far. As yet, we don't know a huge amount about this new variant, but we do know the government was criticised very heavily back in March 2020 when they didn't close borders quickly enough when the coronavirus first happened. So perhaps they are acting more on the side of caution this time. But it certainly has had a big impact on markets. Markets had been trading fairly close to record highs, and we have seen a very big sell-off this morning. As you said, the FTSE is down nearly 3%. We've seen big movements downwards in oil and oil-related companies. We've also seen a big step upwards in the VIX, which is the volatility index, and that implies that investors are expecting a lot more volatility in the coming days.
And Rachel, presumably this added volatility reflects the fact that the US was closed yesterday for Thanksgiving. It'll be half-day trading today. I mean, Wall Street will be pretty quiet, won't it? So there won't be much support kicking in when they open.
That's absolutely right. So when you haven't got a huge amount of volume going through the markets, when you do get a few trades moving in a particular direction, that can have a very big impact on share prices. So it's very possible that today we haven't actually got that many sales going through, but if there are no buyers on the other side, that's going to have a huge impact on prices.
How much of this is people, traders, do you think, taking out short positions, and how much of this is other factors?
Difficult to say at the moment. We do know there is quite a big short position across the whole market at the moment because markets were close to record highs. There have been concerns, particularly over the last month, that US markets in particular have been too high. So that potentially would support the views that there have been some big short positions over the last couple of days.
What have you made of the movement in the oil price in particular?
Wow, I mean, that has risen hugely since March last year. It did get down to about $28 per barrel, and it has come up a lot since then. It had been as high as $85 per barrel, and this morning it has slipped down below $80 per barrel. So clearly that's bad news for oil companies. But on the plus side, it could potentially be good news for inflation, because we have been concerned over the last few weeks about rising levels of inflation, and the high oil price had been a big contributor to that. So if oil starts to come down, that could potentially have a negative impact on inflation, and that could potentially take some pressure off central banks to raise interest rates sooner rather than later. So potentially, looking a bit longer term, this could be good news for the economy and the stock market in the shorter term.
Yeah, very interesting point you raise there, the macroeconomic implications of all this. I mean, in terms of what's been going on in Europe, I mean, it's a pretty similar position there, and they've already got lockdowns in a lot of cities. I mean, are you surprised the extent to which some European indices have sold off today? I mean, it's more ferocious than it is here in the UK.
It is, yeah. I suppose the situation in Europe does seem to be worse than what we're having here in the UK at the moment. Obviously, the cases in Austria are spiking hugely. Germany, for example, has now experienced over 100,000 deaths, which is a horrible milestone to reach. So I'm not surprised that European markets are feeling a bit wobbly. But it does feel that this new African variant has caused some concern. And it's quite surprising, I suppose, to see such a big sell-off in markets this morning.
Rachel, worth pointing out, I mean, since the pandemic began nearly 2 years ago, we've seen a massive uptick in interest in trading from retail investors, and a lot of them been conditioned to buy on the dips. Do you think this is likely to happen today if these kind of falls continue?
Possibly. So as you say, a lot more people have become interested in trading during lockdown, partly because they didn't have much else to do. So we have seen a huge increase in execution-only retail investors buying from home. And actually this morning, almost every stock on my trading screen is down, apart from IGG, which is the owner of IG Group, which is a spread betting and dealing company. And that implies that some people think IG is going to do well from this period of volatility.
Absolutely. It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good, isn't it? Rachel, good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, car production in the UK has slumped to a 65-year low. That's according to new figures out this morning from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. Well, UK car manufacturing output fell by 41.4% in October. That was the fourth straight month of decline and the weakest October since 1956. Well, production for overseas markets was down by 42.1%. Shipments to the European Union were down by 29.2%, but more worryingly, shipments to the United States were down by 67%. On a positive note, production of the latest battery electric, plug-in hybrid and hybrid vehicles made up 30.9% of all cars made in October. Well, Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders Chief Executive Mike Hawes has described the numbers as extremely worrying. He joins me now. Mike, very good morning to you. How much of this is down to the chip shortages that we're seeing afflicting the industry?
It is predominantly the chip shortage. I mean, semiconductors, the shortages are affecting global production everywhere, and the UK is not immune to that. There are some other issues in there. You pointed out there the exports to the US down significantly. A lot of that is due to the closure of the Honda factory we had back in July. A large proportion of their output was exported to the US, so that was always predictable. But overwhelmingly, this is semiconductors.
What about higher energy costs? To what extent are they biting car manufacturers?
Absolutely. Like any manufacturing industry, we have a high usage of energy, electricity. It is the high price, but it's also the volatility. I mean, the volatility we've seen over the last few months is particularly acute. But going into that period of uncertainty, we already had the highest energy costs in Europe for any sort of major manufacturing country. So, we were always carrying a high burden of energy costs. So this is, just exasperated so many of the players here, because it is just compounded an already expensive input cost.
Mike, we got very used during the pandemic to some car manufacturers cancelling shifts and introducing temporary layoffs due to component shortages. Are you seeing much evidence of that right now?
No, they're using every form of flexibility that they had. I mean, clearly you want to try, in terms of efficiencies and productivity, you want to keep the plants running, because when you stop production, you still incur costs. You still got to keep the lights on, you still got to keep, heating on and so forth. You need to keep the plant spinning. So it is trying to balance production as best you can with an uncertain supply of semiconductors. So they're using the flexibilities they have, like time banking from time to time. But, we're keeping a very close eye on this, because, we expect this shortage to continue well into 2022. I mean, the catchback that we're trying to get from the semiconductor industry is going to take many months to flow through. So, it's what is especially difficult is that unpredictability. You can't be exactly sure when you're going to get that delivery of those particular parts. And it's also worth noting that, while semiconductors is the biggest issue, it is masking some other challenges in supply chains. Because this is still a COVID-related issue. We're trying to recover from COVID, but it's going to take many, many months, irrespective of the announcement we heard overnight.
Mike, put this into a wider context for me, if you would, please. How is the UK industry comparing with some of its continental European peers, the likes of Germany, France and Spain?
It's a fairly similar picture. Obviously, we're down 41%, Germany, France, Spain, Italy down similar numbers. The diversity of the industry we have in the UK is, we obviously have volume production like Toyota and Nissan and so forth, premium like Jaguar Land Rover, Mini, but also high value manufacturing, advanced manufacturing in the likes of the premiums and the luxury like Bentley, Rolls and so forth. They're all in a slightly different position, trying to, some of them can get the semiconductors more easily than others. And global manufacturers, clearly when they're in such short supply, they want to focus on two areas. One, high margin vehicles. You can't produce as many as you would want to do because of the shortage. Focus on high margin to try and mitigate some of their financial losses. That, though, gives you a CO2 problem. So you also have to try and balance that with increased production of electric vehicles, which do take a lot of semiconductors. But, because you have a CO2 regulation, you've got to balance out. Between the two of them, that's where most of the focus is going.
And the one thing that we highlighted is the fact that electric and hybrid production is still on the up. Do you think this is going to stymie in any way that growth if this semiconductor shortage becomes protracted?
Not so much stymieing the growth. I mean, it's in the sheer volume, absolutely, because you just can't make as many vehicles as you want to make. But what you're seeing, the overall output is coming down. The proportion of electrified vehicles is increasing, and that's due to investments. So we expect it to continue broadly proportional. So we're at about just over 30% of UK outputs now electrified through battery electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, and other hybrids. The industry is moving rapidly towards full electric vehicles, as well as hydrogen and some other technologies. That's, that train, if you excuse the metaphor, has already left the station in terms of investment. Just making sure you can get the supply wherever in the world you make these vehicles is the critical issue facing the global car industry.
All right, Mike. Appreciate you joining me this morning. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So Some other business stories for you now. And the Competition and Markets Authority said today it had secured improved commitments from Google on changes to user tracking cookies in its browser. Well, the UK's main competition watchdog said that without its involvement, there would have been a risk that Google could have developed alternatives that would impede competition in digital advertising markets. And it said that this might have caused advertising spending to have become even more concentrated on Google, harming consumers who ultimately pay for the cost of advertising. The world's biggest football stadium is up for sale. A Chinese government body has taken over the stadium, which is being built in Guangzhou province at a cost of $1.86 billion by Evergrande, the debt-laden property developer. Well, construction on the stadium began in April last year and it's due for completion next year. But Evergrande is struggling to meet interest payments on its $300 billion worth of debts and is having to sell assets in order to raise money. Well, Reuters reported that Evergrande may also have to sell Guangzhou Football Club, the champions of China 8 times, for whom the stadium is being built. The club was until recently managed by the former Italian star Fabio Cannavaro. And Essentra, the FTSE 250 components manufacturer and distributor, has put its packaging division up for sale. The business designs and makes specialist packaging for the beauty and pharmaceutical sectors, including tamper-evident labelling, cartons, leaflets, self-adhesive labels and printed foils used in blister packs. Well, the company has already put up for sale its filters business, which is the only global independent cigarette filter supplier. Offloading the two operations will leave Essentra, which has nearly 7,500 employees worldwide, as a specialist components maker. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. The shipping industry attracts criticism amid claims it's in climate denial. Don't go away.
That has happened within minutes, and now it's coming from both sides, and it's moving this way.
Only about half a mile from the Turkish coast, and it's evident that the boat seriously overcrowded. This is one of the most severe viruses in the world. I'm Alex Crawford and I'm Sky's special correspondent based in Istanbul.
This is going to be the biggest party Tripoli has ever seen.
That's it, it got us then. There's a lot of action going on, a lot of hits coming in still. We aim to be the best and the most trusted place in news.
Clearly not had very much to eat at all, a lot of them extremely thin and very frail. Look at her arms, I can put my entire hand round.
This is the cocktail of drugs which the doctors at this hospital have been giving their coronavirus patients. Made for people who want clarity in an uncertain world.
Mother Nature can be vicious, absolutely savage. The world's largest falls now down to a trickle in places.
I can't imagine how much plastic is lying at the bottom of this huge lake. Oh!
Close and personal with a rhino.
This is what makes the job so fantastic.
Welcome back. A bit of breaking news to bring you. 5 Derbyshire police officers are being investigated over events leading up to the violent death of Gracie Spinks at a stable block near Chesterfield, where she kept her horse. More on that story throughout the morning here on Sky News. There is Gracie Spinks. Now, the UN's shipping body has been heavily criticised by climate campaigners after it deferred a decision on revising its emissions reduction strategy until 2023. The shipping industry accounts for almost 3% of man-made greenhouse gases. Campaigners say this decision this week by the UN Maritime Agency is dangerous. Well, the Director of Policy at the UK Chamber of Shipping, Peter Aylett, joins me now. Peter, very good morning to you. Why was this decision deferred until 2023?
Good morning, Ian. I think it's very clear to all those involved in the International Maritime Organization that their original plan that was set some years ago was to achieve these decisions by 2023. And so the pressure has come possibly from the Conference on Parties 26. But let me be very clear about something here. This is the International Maritime Organization, a UN agency made up of national governments. It is not the shipping industry. The shipping industry is ahead of this. And the UK Chamber itself, with over 200 members in the United Kingdom operating shipping companies, has committed to a net zero by 2050. So I think there is a bit of perspective in the sense of what the IMO can achieve. Conference COP26 didn't achieve complete consensus of a net zero 2050 target. And in the same way, the IMO has got one or two members, national governments, that are not going to commit to net zero by 2050. So I think that's entirely understandable. I think more importantly is what the industry is doing outside government to move forward. Not only is the Chamber of Shipping in the United Kingdom committed to net zero 2050, but many other shipping associations have done that too. And so the industry is moving ahead. It's got initiatives on things like cargoes, the charters of vessels to carry cargoes, aligned with the Amazons and IKEAs that want to see net zero by 2040. They're moving in that direction too, as is finance. So the financial loans and funding of vessel purchases is also moving in that direction through something called the Poseidon Principles. So the industry is moving ahead. It's recognising that the government have got some issues across the international piece of the 174 member states at IMO, and consensus is difficult. They will get there, but it probably will be a situation where the industry leads the governments on this.
I hear what you're saying, Peter. So don't blame the industry. It's all the fault of the politicians.
Well, that's a nice perspective to take, but I don't think it's a fault here. I think we have to recognise that we're all committed to this 2050 position. A number of the debates at COP26 are about whether we will overshoot the 1.5 degrees Paris targets and whether that might settle back in 2100. But the shipping industry is moving forward. It has been an international industry since the very day that ships started, and that will continue to be the case. And so the solutions here are international, but they're probably going to be outside the remit of governments. But what is important, Ian, is that the governments do recognise that their commitments need to have actions. We've seen quite a bit of investment committed to by the United Kingdom government in various industries, perhaps less so in the shipping industry, which has got more strategic issues. I'm thinking here about fuels. I'm thinking about infrastructure to enable ships to bring their cargoes to the United Kingdom and then take them elsewhere. We've just heard about the car industry and exports to the US, for instance. And one of the issues is that we have vessels now that have batteries. We have vessels that have sailed with hydrogen, and we have vessels in 2 years' time that will sail with ammonia as fuels. But where are they going to get these fuels? Where are they going to charge their batteries? This is an area I think that the Chamber would really like to see the government putting some more money and financial commitment to, recognising that in the international piece of the IMO, it is more difficult to get a consensus at the speed perhaps the industry is moving.
Briefly, Peter, while we have you, we saw the importance earlier this year of the Suez Canal. The Egyptian government's just raised fees for ships going through the Suez Canal. Is that going to have an inflationary impact?
Well, in a minuscule sense, when you go to the supermarket, you won't even notice it. When you make your purchases online, you won't notice it. It is absolutely tiny components of the overall cost. And I think one of the things that we remember about the vessel in the Suez Canal was the size, the number of containers it had on board. And if you do the maths, you'll recognise that we're talking less than halfpenny in any consumer goods that you might purchase.
Peter Aylett, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, one of the criticisms levelled at business leaders attending COP26 by campaigners was that they talk the talk but didn't quite walk the walk when it comes to delivering on their promises to cut climate emissions. Well, Schneider Electric is taking steps to prove it's an exception. Long before the summit, it began aligning sustainability goals with executive pay across all levels of the organisation. Well, how effective has that move been? Well, here to tell me is Kelly Becker. She's president for Schneider Electric in the UK and Ireland. Kelly, very good morning to you. Before we get on to that, the last time we spoke to you was in March when you were announcing plans to electrify your car and van fleet by 2025. I just wonder what progress you're making towards that end.
Morning, Ian. Yes, so we're making great progress. I think our employees have been a really integral part of our desire to move towards an electric fleet, along with obviously what the government is implementing. It's, never every process is never completely smooth, and you learn things as you lead. And we're leading on this front with a lot of compared to a lot of companies and moving our fleet. And so we're making progress in the UK, and we will shortly be starting in Ireland as well.
So as I mentioned in the introduction, you've been tying sustainability issues to executive pay for some time now. What are the kind of KPIs, key performance indicators, that you look to tie pay to?
So Schneider's been on a journey for about 15 years since announcing really sustainability goals and carbon emission goals. And so there's executive pay, but quite frankly, most of our employees have a piece of their compensation that is tied to sustainability. Additionally, it's around what we're doing in our communities and how we're impacting, in addition to what we're doing at our own facilities and factories. So it's really measurable targets, which is something we've learned over the course of the last many years, which was you can't just say a big goal. You actually have to put actionable targets in place for all of our employees to work towards.
That's really interesting, though. It's not just the executives, it's people on the shop floor as well.
It is. It's most of our employees, and it's really tied to our commitments that our CEOs made to our UN sustainability goals. It's well published in our annual reports. And this is because this is a company that believes in sustainability and believes in the need to work within the planet and drive energy efficiency. It's really the core mission of the company. And so when that's the mission, you have to tie employees to driving that. And in fact, our employees lead on that front quite a bit. And, I regularly have conversations with different employees that say, we want Schneider to be doing A, B, or C on our facilities. We want us to be continuing to push the bar in terms of corporations.
What advice would you give other businesses who are thinking of going down this route?
You have to start. And I think that's one of the keys is start somewhere. Decide, is there an area that's relevant for your business where you can start? If you have a big fleet, electric vehicles is a great place to start. If you have a lot of factories, working closely on what does the end-to-end of that factory look like? What is the emissions that's going with that? And start to measure. Because you really can't tell whether you're making progress and doing the right things if you don't know where you've started from. But really, we know a lot of companies still have a long way to go and aren't really sure how to hit these targets. And the perfect way to start is to pick one area that's critical to what you're trying to do and get moving.
All right, Kelly Becker, good to talk to you again. Thanks very much indeed for joining me today.
Thanks, Ian.
Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. Will consumers splash the cash on Black Friday, or will rising inflation hold people back? I'll be speaking to the Chief Executive of Barclaycard next. Don't go away.
You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well, Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and Inter, you are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination Inter. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it's Starr Radio UK, the morning show.
This is Starr Radio UK.
My God, the promise
Okay, so let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We salute you all and we welcome you to the show. Today is Friday, the 26th day of November, the year 2021. By the time now, 10:41 from the hearts of London. Thank God it's Friday, and of course my mind day. And together we're gonna make big waves. And for once again, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to share this broadcast with your friends and loved ones, even your enemies. What about that? So again, welcome. Everything's gonna be alright. God is working. Though you might not see it, though you might not even feel anything, but I can tell you assuredly that some way, somehow, He works on your behalf. And as you are alive, I say all the time, once you are alive, there is hope. Hey, Archie. From now till 1 o'clock, I'm gonna be your captain, saying to you that we travel this journey in perfect peace. So if you're sitting, sit down, hold on to something. If you're standing, get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, and make yourself comfortable. Yes, of course, it could get a bit bumpy during the course, but you are short of one thing: a safe arrival. Well, like I say it all the time, if it's making the headlines from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, why not? I'm gonna touch on it. We're gonna look at it. So once again, welcome. But I say good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Kojo and Felix all the way in Aberdeen, and Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, and to Mr. Frank Davis and Mr. Laimi Koiki, who are on an errand. I salute you all, gentlemen. I hope you're all doing good. And to our listeners in the US, those of you who celebrate the Thanksgiving, yes, thank God for another year. Though it got its own challenges, yet we are still alive. I may not see it. So welcome. So those of you in Europe, those of you in Asia, those of you on the African continent, let me say good morning to our South African listeners. I hope that you guys are taking good care of yourself. Eben, Chantel, yeah. A new strain there. So please take good care of yourself. We know you've been very, very conscious of whatever is going on. So please. But once again, welcome to the show. Now, if it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us on Friday, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds, known as global trotting. Then exactly at 11 o'clock, I'll bring you updates from Nigeria, where there's lots happening. Then after that, we'll continue to have a look at all the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. I'll be joined by Kojo and we'll be analyzing some of the stories there. Then at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to do so, please post your comments on our Facebook page or text or WhatsApp it to us. Our number is 0753-966-1744. 0753-966-1744. Then at 12 o'clock, the lines are open. It goes on until 12:30 when we are joined by our money man, Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, on the money hour. Then the program comes to an end exactly at 1 o'clock when the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in the gist, that is what is going to happen today. God is working and He's up to something.
God is working. Tell you everybody, He's up to something. I may not see it, still I'm trusting. 'Cause God is working. God is working.
then surely He will do it. So wherever you are, once again, welcome to the show. Now let's crack on. The quote for the day says even if you don't agree with what someone is saying or think you have a better idea, nevertheless hear him or her out before offering your suggestions. Now, you know, at times we are too quick to jump in. Listen to the person first. Maybe you don't even agree with the person, but let the person get everything up his chest out, and then you come in with your suggestion. Yeah? Okay, so that's by way of the quote for the day. Playing in the background still like I said, God is working and He's up to something. Everything's gonna be alright. Let me say special good morning to my able producer, Mr. Francis Gaye, in the house. Come next week, he'll be joining me on the panel as well.
My God is not a liar. He should lie. All the son of man that He should repent. If He said it.
It's now 10:47. Let's quickly have a look at the weather front and then move on to the travel updates. Now, so when it comes to the weather front today, once I was coming on my way to the studio, it was raining. But I look at the windows, look out at the CCTV footage now. I can see that out there is all nice and dry. Okay, so this afternoon, outbreaks of rain will feed in from the northwest. However, there will be some bright spells too. A breezy day expected as well. Now, tonight will be a cold and very windy night. Clear spells are likely at first, but cloud and outbreaks of blustery rain and possible sleet will soon move in from the north. Strong gust is likely as well. Now, when it comes to the temperature is going to be 9 degrees, the lower is going to be 3 degrees. Pollen level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low, UV level is going to be low as well. Now, sunset 15:59 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:36 hours. Now, let's look at the weather for Saturday. Unsettled weather will persist through much of tomorrow. Strong winds and outbreaks of rain and potential sleet will continue, possibly falling as wet snow for a time. Gale force winds are likely. So on the temperatures tomorrow is quite cold, chilly. The top temperature is going to be 4 degrees, the lower is going to be 2 degrees. Then comes Sunday, the top temperature 4 degrees, the lower is 0. Wow, quite cold. Alright then, so that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you today and over the weekend. God is still working for my good. Yes, but stay tuned. Don't go away. A quick commercial break. We come back and I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned. Starr Radio UK.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check it out.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Update that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:49. Yes, so let's crack on. It's going to be a very sweet one. On the underground this morning, there are lots of issues there. So the first one, shuttle service are in operation between White City and Ealing Broadway, Hainault and Liverpool Street, Leytonstone and Epping, Woodford and Hainault and West Ruslip and North Acton. No service on the rest of the line due to a strike action by the RMT. Value tickets being accepted on local buses, London Overground, DLR and London Network Rail, and that is pertaining to the Central Line. Well, on the second line as well, severe delays due to train cancellations. Now, moving on straight to the Jubilee line. On the Jubilee line as well, we have severe delays. Service is operating at a reduced frequency approximately every 5 minutes due to strike action by the RMT. But keep your eyes on the roads. So we'll keep you navigated. Northern Line has also been affected by the strike action by the RMT. Piccadilly, Victoria, Waterloo, and City lines are all affected by that. But other side, when it comes to the London Overground, TfL Rail, and DLR, they are all in good service. But keep your eyes on the roads. Straight to the river bars this morning. Apart from the Woolwich train that's got planned closures, all the others have also got good service. Keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. Now, moving on straight to the National Rail. On the National Rail this morning, Tilton Railways has got minor delays. First Transpennine Express, severe delays. Gatwick Express, special service. Great Anglia, special service. Northern Rail, special service. ScotRail, minor delays. And Southwestern Railway, special service there as well. Now keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. I promise I'll born. Now on the final segment of the travel update for you, A4 has got closures, Blackwall Tunnel closures, Central London Red Routes closures, and A2 has got serious delays. Now if you can avoid all this, do your best to avoid this. But if not, and you are stuck in there, continue to listen to us, because as and when there are any changes, I promise you, we'll bring it to the fore. So on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
God is working, He is up to something. I may not see it, but still I'm trusting. God is working, He is working.
Okay, welcome back to the program. God is working, is up to something. I can say bring pong for you. Okay, now let's crack on. It's now time for Global Trotting. What is the news? What is making the rounds across the globe? That is what we're going to be looking at this juncture.
I may not see it, still I'm trusting. 'Cause God is working.
I don't know why I like my nice reggae tunes in the morning, but there's nothing that a nice reggae tune cannot sort out. This is always a gospel one. What about that? Yeah, man. An inspiring one. Let me put it that way. Okay, so
My God, the promise keeper.
now starting from home here, UK put safety first over COVID variant. Sharp says now fears about impact on vaccines mean travel from 6 African countries had to be restricted, he adds. So we're going to be looking into those countries that he's talking about there. Well, are we venturing towards another is it lockdown or whatever they want to talk about? How has this variant come about as well? It's all Star ready, okay? And Southampton FC left coach free to abuse boys. A report finds Southampton Football Club failed to put the safety of and welfare of boys first. And a girl 12 killed during city centre row. 4 boys aged between 13 and 15 are arrested on suspicion of murdering Ava White in Liverpool. And then when it comes to travelling, transport improvements between North Wales and North West England feature in a UK government review. Well, so are we going to get some expeditious means of travelling to Wales from England? Alright. And France scraps UK talks over Johnson migrant letter. Now France cancels high-level talks in protest at a letter published by the Prime Minister Boris Johnson. What did he say there? I'll try my best to bring you in-depth analysis of that as well. But it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK. I'm moving on to other parts parts of the world, the new COVID variant is most significant seen yet. The World Organization is to discuss the variant identified in South Africa as the UK's and the other countries restrict travel.
Everything is working out for my good, working out.
The poorest first food crisis amid fertilizer shortage. The boss of the world's largest fertilizer producer says gas prices are responsible for higher food prices. Now, violence as protesters rally for women's rights. There are 3 are shot dead in Mexico, and police fire tear gas in Turkey in rallies over gender-based violence. I remember my colleague, Mr. Frank Davis, has a group that has been set up, Men for Women. It's not men for women that way, but men who support the cause of women, helping them fight against any abuses of the sort. Well, I think it's about time that we revamp it. What's all coming your way? Starr Radio UK. Well, God is working. It's up to something. It's up to something. Don't you feel it? I feel it. That He's working. It's up to something. Coming your way from Starr Radio UK, the Friday edition of the morning show. Well, a new COVID variant has also been detected in Israel. A case was detected in a person who returned to Israel from Malawi, according to reports there. Yehovah Bwaye. But in Europe, Macron rounds on Johnson in migrant boat row. Well, we'll be talking more about that. Let's not really touch on that. But hey, there doesn't seem to be an end to this difficulty or this challenge that we are seeing unravel before us.
My God is never LA.
Well, a pilot has been accused of murdering Australian campus. After a dramatic arrest, Greg Lynn is charged with killing a pair who disappeared 20 months ago. Now, so what happens? What goes on in the minds of people for them to decide to take or undertake such an evil deed? What goes on there? I really want to have a one-on-one with somebody who has done something like that. I want to actually get into their minds to know exactly what goes on. What are the trigger factors? What causes them to behave that way? Okay, so Starr Radio UK. Well, in Kenya, uproar over Kenyan ad on dress code to avoid rape. The poster outside a university links rape to indecent dressing. I bet if they are here, they'll be in trouble. I tell you honestly.
Me say, everything is gonna be alright. Every little thing is gonna.
At least 43 have been killed in Sudan intercommunal fighting. More than 40 villages have been burned in clashes in Darfur region. You look, they live in these mud houses, clay houses, and I ask myself, what actually do they want? What do people want? Why do people behave that way? Well, a lot more going to be coming your way. I will be unraveling everything for you. But still on the African continent, Morocco halts flights with France over COVID-19 spread. Now, Morocco will from Friday 26 midnight today suspend flights to and from France because of rising numbers in coronavirus cases. We're going to be seeing a rising cases that that's not going to be Christmas. Well, in Gambia, the Gambian government has urged to pursue crimes under ex-dictator Yahya Jammeh. A TRRC statement delivered to the press said that it contains recommendations to pursue charges against people who bear the greatest responsibility. But they're going to bring Yahya Jammeh to justice as well, since we know that he's in one of the African countries. In the It's All Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. To Nigeria, I'm not going to say Nigerian country, Nigeria. Nigerian police rescues 8 kidnapped victims. Fresh attacks on Plateau. Several people killed, houses burned. These are some of the stories making the rounds. There. Straight to Ghana as well, where we'll be bringing you more of the stories. The Parliament decides on 2022 budget today as minority threatens rejection. But virtually they are at par, so they only have one person who is an independent candidate, who is an independent rep. MP who has decided that he wants to be, voting with the ruling government or ruling party, that is the MPP. So they think that if they make any noise or anything, they will be able to vote it down or not. But there are issues. There are times that we've seen situations where what do we call it? We have voting taking place, especially when it came to the selection or election of the Speaker of Parliament. You remember what happened there? There were some people who voted against what the government was putting across. So maybe some way, somehow, with this e-levy thing, where people are saying that, whoa, we are going to be embarking on some serious demonstration, or we are not going to pay, maybe it makes them sit up and think things through, and therefore decide that they will crack the whip when it comes to Parliament and as to whether this budget will be approved. Well, Fix the Country group to embark on another demo. Yes, today we're following that story closely. And e-levy, Abena Sayasare suggests government may review implementation strategy. Implementation strategy, what does it mean? If you decide to remit or transfer or transact maybe up to 1,000 Ghana before you pay some levy there, would that work? Okay, we are ready to battle with minority on 2022 budget. And not Dompre is also saying there. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio. You get 3 minutes by the top of the hour. And then, interestingly, those luxurious 14,000 per hour LX-D10 aircraft captured at Kotika Airport. I was watching a Twitter a moment ago where you could see lots of private jets or flights at the airports, and then you could see this flight there as well. And people are saying that, well, the president is supposed to travel to the US, and therefore it's likely that this flight is what is going to be traveling on. Well, with the same cost, $14,000 per hour. Okay, so how long does it take to go to the US? And some information coming through talks about the hotels that the president and his entourage live in when they go, the cost of it. So if you look at all those things, listen to all those recommendations and everything that's happening, you ask yourself the question, so what are they taking us for a ride? Are they taking the common citizens for a ride or what? We'll be talking about all that in a moment. And should the president's trips be classified as one of the MPs or a spokesperson of the NPP have said? What do you think? This and a lot more going to be coming your way. Stay tuned. Let's take this song from Diana Hamilton. Says, when he come home, meaning he watches over me. May God watch over you today and over the weekend. And as the days get to the end of the year, enjoy this and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
This is Starr Radio UK.
This is the morning show with Archie.
When
Radio UK. All around the world.
The best radio show.
This is Starr Radio UK. In your car,
At work.
at home,
On your smartphone.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactly 13 minutes past the top of the hour, and it's time for updates from Nigeria. I hope you enjoyed that tune that I brought your way a moment ago. You watch over me. May God watch over you today, wherever your endeavors are. May everything that has been worked or orchestrated against you not prosper. Okay? And may only the counsel of God come to pass in your life today. Okay, all right then, so it's now time for the updates from Nigeria, and I got lots of stories that I'm bringing your way. But a breaking story that came through just a moment ago: the indigenous people of Biafra has disclosed that the Nigeria Army personnel were responsible for the burning of houses, vehicles, and shops worth millions of naira in Awo Mama in the Oru East local government area in Imo State on Monday. Now, IPOB said the soldiers transferred their aggression to innocent residents of the community instead of engaging in battles with their attackers. Now, it goes on further to say the group disclosed this in a statement issued by its spokesperson, Emma Powerful, which was made available to Sahara Reports. Today, the Nnamdi Kanu-led group revealed this as a reaction to the Nigerian Army statement that IPOB members were responsible for the destruction of the community. Some gunmen on Monday afternoon killed a military officer when they attacked some soldiers in the community, and in reprisal, military operative regrouped, invaded the town and allegedly razed all property on site. Now, reaction on Friday, IPOB said the attention of global movement and family of the indigenous people of Biafra under the command of our indefatigable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been drawn to the fallacious fabricated statement from the compromised Nigerian Army blaming IPOB for the atrocities they committed at Awo Mama in Imo State on the 22nd of November 2021. It goes on further to say the allegation by the acting deputy director Army Public Relations 82 Division Nigerian Army Major Abubakar Abdullahi that IPOB and ESN, that Eastern Security Network, are responsible for setting vehicles and houses on fire in Awo Mama, Imo State is false and intended to divert attention. In a quote, he said, "It is too appalling that Nigerian Army set the whole community ablaze and burnt down the whole community because of attack by unknown gunmen created by the Supreme Court Administrator of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, in his quest to demonize IPOB and ESN operatives. Now that the monster they created has gone out of control, they are blaming IPOB for their wickedness. Now, the fact remains that IPOB is a non-violent movement seeking the peaceful restoration of Biafra. Neither IPOB nor ESN was involved in the mayhem at Awomama community. The wicked Nigerian army, which cannot resist Boko Haram and Fulani bandits, slaughtering them and other security agents, as well as hapless citizens in North like fowls, show their gallantry only when dealing with innocent Biafrans. Now, the group faulted the security operatives for hounding innocent citizens in the southeast region, while terrorists and bandits are killing and abducting people in the north. Boko Haram is destroying lives and properties worth billions of naira in the north, and the army has never attacked any community in retaliation, but they are here shamelessly destroying Igbo land for nothing. They should know they will one day account for their atrocities in Biafra land. It goes on further to say, what did the innocent people of Awo Mama do to deserve the destruction of their homes and means of livelihood by soldiers? Why did the army not go after the attackers but cowardly transfer their aggressions on innocent folks? What they did at Awo Mama is unprovoked destruction of a defenseless community. The Nigerian army is still penalizing Awo Mama because of their son Ikonzo, who is earlier murdered in cold blood because he was a member of ESN resisting Fulani bandits against the occupation of our ancestral land. The 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, instead of owning up to the atrocities at the Awo Mama as usual, resorted to lies. No matter how hard they try to cover up, the truth cannot be buried. The statement further said IPOB also rebuked Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma and Igbo leaders not for speaking against the alleged atrocities committed by the Nigerian army in Nigeria. The good people of Awo Mama already know who their attackers are. They know that IPOB and ESN were not involved in the burning down of their shops, properties and buildings. Nigerian army must stop denying the obvious. The world must hold them accountable for their crimes against humanity in Biafra land. It is a big shame that the so-called political elite and Igbo leaders are watching purported repentant Fulani terrorists recruited into Nigerian army destroy our communities. Last month, they burnt down villages in Ogu and Enugu state. Now it is Awo Mama in Imo State. Now, just last week, they burnt down 2 communities in Izombe, Oguta, also in Imo State. Now, who knows where their next target will be? Yet they are all their own political elite is watching them. The global community must know that IPOB and ESN were not responsible for the burning down of communities in Biafra land, contrary to blatant lies by the Nigerian army. There are credible videos and pictorial evidence showing Nigerian army engaging in this inhumanity. They must be made to answer for their crimes. Hope Uzindima should hide his face in shame for watching the destruction of the people he claims he is governing. No northern governor can take this nonsense, IPOB added. And it's a very, very sad situation because, you know, the one problem that becomes a dilemma, let me put it that way, is the fact that when people are cladded in military apparel, it's difficult for you to say that this is an actual Nigerian army or soldiers who are perpetrating something or who are doing this. So another challenge there, like the Lekki Toge, where they are saying that, well, we don't know, though the people were cladded or wearing military uniforms, but we were not the ones who dispatched them there. Is there another story that way that we're going to be seeing there, where a whole community has been raised down because a soldier was killed by some irate people in that particular area? Now, like they were saying, I mean, in that press statement, now, when you go to the north, I mean, or other areas where military command, high command, I mean, individuals have been shot dead or been killed, why haven't they gone to those communities to raise those communities to the ground? Are you catching my drift? So is it a ploy to maybe destroy that particular area? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I said earlier on, get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, and let's continue to crack on. It's updates from Nigeria coming your way. Now, with other stories making the rounds, well, Lagos State Speaker urges Nigeria to remain calm, Nigerians to remain calm, wait for NSAS white paper. So the speaker in Lagos State is now calling for calmness. Now, as the controversy surrounding the leaked panel report on the NSAS protest continues, Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudushiru Obaza, has urged Nigerians to be calm and wait for the white paper of the NSAS panel report before passing judgment. The speaker made the remarks on Wednesday during Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu presentation of the 1.388 trillion budget proposal for the 2022 to the Lagos State House of Assembly. In a quote, he said, "I will plead with Lagosians and Nigerians as a whole that while we wait that the white paper of the NSAS panel report, while we wait for the white paper of the NSAS panel report, people should remain calm and not rush to judgment," he said. He assured that justice will be served based on the report findings, as justice in the foundation is the foundation of any democratic government. Now, he goes on further to say, let's not forget that Lagos has never been a police state, and it will not start now. Our state has always been a free state for all. We have absolute faith and confidence in our governor that he will not descend so low to incite violence against any member of the panel, irrespective of the decision or interest of the members of the panel, he said. Moreover, he also praised the 7-member judicial panel of inquiry led by retired Justice Doris Okuwobi for probing incidents of cruelty and human rights breaches perpetrated by operatives of the state defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad, that is the SARS there as well. But that is a bit of common sense coming in from there. So you have somebody who is thinking aloud and looking at things holistically, thinking that how do we calm all these flames, or bring them down to the barest minimum? How do we do so? And I think kudos to him. I think that's where what I would say there. still Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, moving on to another story making the rounds. Now, new Seriki and Dino in Jaws. No fewer than 10 persons were killed as gunmen attacked T. Egbe community in Baza local government area of Plateau State on Friday. Now, information coming in said that several houses belonging to the natives were also set ablaze by the attackers, while several people sustained injuries as the gunmen raided the community in the early hours of Friday. Now, spokesperson for the Miango Youth Development Association, Mr. Nuhu Bitrus, while confirming the attack on Friday morning, said search and rescue operations for victims were still ongoing. He added that so far 10 corpses have been recovered and evacuated to the mortuary. Now, he said last night was really another black day for the Rigwe nation as suspected Fulani militia attacked Tiegbe village, killed so many people and injured many others. They also set their houses on fire. So why are they doing this? He continued to say, right now, we have just counted the bodies of 10 persons who were shot dead by the attackers. They were being taken to the mortuary. Our people are still searching for more victims. We will let you know when we are done with the search and rescue operation. The police are yet to confirm the incident. Well, a very sad story there. A very, very sad story there. You live in such a community, you ask yourself, what will be my fate tomorrow or the next day after that? Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, we know that there is this group, this local defense force, let me put it that way, known as the Amatekon. And the Amatekon rescues 2 Fulani herdsmen kidnapped by fellow herdsmen. That is quite an interesting one. The Undersea Security Network, also known as the Amatekon Corps, has rescued 2 Fulani herdsmen who were abducted by their fellow herdsmen. Now, the commander of the corps in the state, Chief Adetonji Adeleye, who confirmed this, identified the victims as Musa Ibrahim and Amidu Ibrahim. According to him, the victims were abducted by a gang of herdsmen in Supare Akoko, were about to be slaughtered when the men arrived at the scene. Oh my. Oh my. Well, interesting. And then he said when the operatives stormed the scene, the hoodlums, numbering about 7, fled, leaving behind one of its members, Amodu, who was sleeping at the time. Now, he said this is a case of herdsmen being kidnapped by fellow Fulani men. The 2 victims rescued by the Amatekon Corps and Musa Ibrahim and Amidu Ibrahim, they are siblings and they are herdsmen. Now, they were kidnapped in Supari Akoko and valuables were taken from them. After the kidnap operations, they were tired and about to be slaughtered by fellow Fulani men. Before our men got wind of it, we penetrated the forest where they were hiding and we were able to apprehend one of the criminals. He confessed to their crime and said the gang was a group of 7 that they migrated into the states from Benin and Kogi states. He said the last kidnap they did involved 8 people. He said they all scattered with the Amatekon men when the Amatekon men came in order to be arrested. The suspected kidnapper, Sidi Amudu, claimed that he came from Kogi for the purpose of the kidnap and that they hired cows as a cover-up because they were not real owners of cows. So are there people who are hiding behind being herdsmen and perpetrating evils like this in communities? You ask yourself, so when does all this stop? At what point? And that's why I get worried when we have the military who are supposed to rather be in at the place where if people are being attacked or something like that, will go after this irate people to apprehend them or maybe whatever they want to do to them. Yet they leave that and go to communities where whether it was somebody from the community who killed the soldier or not, but raise the whole community to the ground. That is quite sad and worrying. But it's all coming your way. It is Starr Radio UK. It is all your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With the time now, 11:30. Okay. Okay. One other story from there before I touch on two others. Now, gunmen have killed no fewer than 10 persons during an attack on Tigbe community in the Bassa local government area of Plateau. Those are all stories that some of the news networks are also picking up on. All right then. Now, a pastor who seemed to be prophesying and speaking about what is going to happen in Nigeria come 2023 has now gone on to say Nigerians will be afraid to come outside. Apostle Okiki Jesu warns the AGF, that's the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami Police IG, others in fresh prophecies. Now, he said the founder of Christ Apostolic Miracle Ministry, Apostle Paul Okiki Jesu, has warned that the AGF, Abubakar Malami, IGP, Baba Osman Alikali, needs prayers. The cleric said this in a fresh prophecy, or prophecy sent to some news network. The Apostle Okiki Jesu called for adequate security in Yoruba land, Igbo land, the middle belt, and the northern part of the country, virtually the whole country then. Now the prophet said, if sufficient security was not provided, many mysterious events will happen that will make people afraid to be in public places. He also called for prayers for the office of the presidency, Senate, House of Representatives, and other sectors. Now that's the Lord says, or that says the Lord. Okay, the Yoruba land, the Igbo land, the middle belt, and the northern part of the country needs adequate security as from this moment. Adequate security is important and it's a necessity in order to forestall the occurrence of certain things that I, the Lord, have previously mentioned in my messages. Oh, wow. Well, if there wasn't a prophecy, didn't they know that they need to make sure that their people are protected? Well, I leave that to him to go through. All right then. Now, another story from Nigeria. The Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere on Thursday said the federal government was not committed to finding a political solution to self-determination agitation in the country. It hinged its conclusion on what is called the intensified efforts of the federal government to extradite the Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo alias Igboho from Benin Republic. The group also cautioned the federal government against increasing fuel prices, saying that might plunge the country into avoidable social, economic, and industrial crisis. Now, Fenferry noted that the government should have shown genuineness by obeying the judgment already given in favor of the agitators and convening meetings with the leaders of the ethnic nationalities, particularly those from the southeast and southwest, where Nnamdi Kanu and Igboho respectively come from. The solicitors from the agitators and interested stakeholders should also be present at the meeting. Afenifere added in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary Jari Ajayi, saying that it advised that such meetings should be convened without delay. Afenifere said the government should have obeyed the verdict issued by a high court in Ibadan, which ordered it to pay 20 billion naira to Igboho for damages instead of going on an appeal. Well, do you think government is going to heck to that? Somebody will say, no, no, no. That was not going to happen. But the final story before we take a break and then we come back and have a look at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. It is Starr Radio UK. It is the Friday edition of the morning show. Buhari deal with Nigeria youth. When I say deal, it's DEEL. Okay. Now, it says that what a deal of youths, for youths in the country, particularly from the Muhammadu Buhari administration. That is a question that often comes from different quarters. Now, well, the deal for the largest demographic composition, representing about 65% of our population, has been encapsulated under the acronym DEEL, deal, and it's a big deal standing for digital skill acquisition, employability, entrepreneurship, and leadership. Okay, unfolding the deal behind the deal. Last week at the State House press briefing was Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Tabiri, who disclosed that his ministry has the mandate to promote the physical and mental and socio-economic development of the youth through the advancement and protection of their rights within Nigeria. But it's the job being done how and to what end? My apologies. The ministry had the duty of developing the youth and also sports, but let's focus on the youth component in that space. It is quite a germane issue, which often sends those involved into dangerous and illegal migration, in which they dare both the Sahara Desert and Mediterranean seas, all in the bid to get a greener pasture in Europe and other parts of the world. A few survived the misadventure, while a larger number perished in the famished bowels of the desert or the watery enclave of the sea. But why should our youth stay at home? Minister Tabiri unveiled the reason. Now, so do you think Nigeria is at a place or has a headspace to actually say that, well, we are going to develop our youth so that they will some way, somehow be good citizens who contribute their quota to what is happening to building of Nigeria? Well, this brings to an end the updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We take a break, some lovely tune from Nigeria, and then we'll continue with the show. Stay tuned. Don't you go away. Starr.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Oh, Africa. Time to wake up from your slumber. Time to get up. Stand up for your rights. As the great spirits of Africa led our ancestors from time immemorial. And so, rise up, because the time is now.
Starr Radio UK.
Okay, something coming from the old Jedu Play and Belay, but I'll bring you more on that front in a moment. But at this juncture, let's go on to look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Okay, and as I said earlier on, I'll be joined during the course of the program by Kojo D in South London, and wherever you are, you can also join us. You can post your comments on our Facebook page, and of course, as I say all the time, you can call in once the lines are open at 12 o'clock. But stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, just bear with me, trying to load something up. Okay, just bear with me. Yes. Okay. All right then. Now let's crack on. Well, information coming through this morning or late last night showed that the British authorities have actually barred travels from the UK to South Africa and 5 other countries there. Now, so what is it? What is going on there? Now, the story says the UK cannot take a risk over a new coronavirus variant circulating in South Africa, Southern Africa, which may be able to evade the protection of vaccines, the Transport Secretary has said. The Grand Sharp said UK acted immediately with a safety first approach by placing 6 countries on its red list to restrict travel. Now, Susan Hopkins, the UK Health Security Agency Chief Medical Advisor, said it was the most worrying variant yet. Now, no cases have been confirmed in the UK though. Now, from midday, travelers from South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Lesotho, and Eswatini will have to self-isolate for 10 days, with those arriving after 4 hours GMT on Sunday requiring to quarantine in a hotel. But my question is, now those who were en route to the UK, okay, this morning, those who have landed this morning, why didn't they get quarantine or isolate? Why are they not doing that? Why do we say that thing and then we say that, okay, now though we've observed or we find out that this is what is going on, then instead of saying immediately, so if anybody lands, then immediately we stop them from getting mingling with the general public, and by so doing we are able to keep the strain that is coming in. I mean, but they wouldn't do that, and they say, okay, we start from this afternoon. What about the in between? Unless, of course, they're telling me that looking at the travel times or the timetables for the planes or the aircraft, it said that the first flight that will come from South Africa, the southern part of Africa, was to arrive this afternoon. They're saying that fine, but it's quite worrying. Honestly, that is what we did when we saw the Indian variant. We allowed 2 weeks to go before they brought the curtains down to stop people from traveling there or causing them to isolate. So what is that? You know, one interesting thing is that now when I go out to town, I've always been using my masks wherever I go. But I go out to town and then I see people in the shops now carrying a world about what is going on, not putting on their masks there, because where government has not come out to say strictly you have to put on your mask before you get into a shop. You get on the public transport, and now people are like, well, forget it, they just get on it, they don't put on their masks. And I'm saying, you might be infecting yourself or infecting others. Why don't you do that? Now they're saying that, well, if you put on a mask, you have about 65% chance of protecting yourself and infecting others. What is all this about? Well, interesting. From midday, travelers from South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Lesotho, and Eswatini will have to self-isolate for 10 days. This morning, have there been any flights from these countries? Okay, and all flights from these 6 countries have also been suspended until the hotel quarantine system is in operation. Well, It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. They're saying that this variant is quite a dangerous one. A dangerous one. They are keeping fingers and everything crossed. I mean, doing all the necessary tests to make sure that, the vaccines are capable of controlling them. If not, then we are in another uncharted territory. I hope and keep fingers and everything crossed that Christmas will still go on. I know those of you who love Christmas to a bit. I like staying at home, so I don't care if I have to stay at home. I don't mind. And that's the time that I try to chill a bit. Yeah. But if you are one that want to be going around blah 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 blah, then I think it's about time that we start praying. The Health Secretary Sajid Javid is due to update the House of Commons about the COVID situation. By this time it's going on, I'll try to see whether I can get update from there. And the scientists say the variant has 50 mutations overall and more than 30 on the spike protein, which is the target of most vaccines and the virus used to unlock the doorway into our body cells. Professor James Naismith, director of the Rosalind Franklin Institute at Oxford University, said it's bad news, but it's not doomsday. The variant will almost certainly make vaccines less effective, but they will still work to some extent. New drugs to treat COVID-19 will not be affected by the variant, he suggested. Okay, so what is going to happen then? More booster plus 2, booster plus 3? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With the time now, 40 minutes to the top of the hour. Okay. Some sad story coming through as well. A 12-year-old girl has died after suffering catastrophic injuries during an argument in a city centre. Now, Eva White was with friends in Liverpool when she was assaulted at 20:40 GMT on Thursday. The Merseyside police previously said she had been stabbed, but later said a post-mortem examination will be carried out to establish the cause of death. Now, 4 teenage boys aged between 13 and 15 and from Togstedt have been arrested on suspicion of her murder. Now, officers found Eva collapsed on the ground on Church Alley shortly after the city's Christmas lights switch on took place. A member of the public who had witnessed the incident was given her first aid. Police said she was taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital with critical injuries but died a short time later. We believe that Eva and her friends had been involved in a verbal argument which culminated in Eva being assaulted, causing catastrophic injuries, Assistant Chief Constable John Roy said. And we understand that the offenders were then seen to run up School Lane across Hanover Street and onto Fleet Street. However, the 4 boys, a 13-year-old, 2 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old remain in police custody for questioning. Sarah Doyle, the assistant mayor of Liverpool, said she was heartbroken by the news of Eva's death. I know news of this tragedy will shake communities across our city, she added. We will do all we can to support the city and those affected over the coming weeks. A spokesman for Eva's school, Notre Dame Catholic College in Everton, said staff were working to support students. A very, very sad one. We say may her soul rest in perfect peace. But if you're a parent listening to me, we don't see this happening to girls. We see the boys, the young boys are the ones who seem to be dying of such atrocities or attacks. Rarely will you hear that a girl has died because maybe of stabbing or maybe arguments that have ended up in a girl's life being lost. But it makes it quite worrying. Do you keep your children under wraps? Do you tell them that, hey, you cannot go out today? And would they even listen to you? Children of this age, they tell you when it suits them, they tell you, yeah, you cannot tell me that. Now when it doesn't, they tell they'll tell you, oh yeah, I'm a kid and it's your duty as a parent to take care of me, blah blah blah. But when you're guiding them or giving them instructions, they don't want to adhere to it, and that is quite a worrying one. But I know it's a nightmare or trouble for every parent when you read stories of that sort. It's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Remember, exactly at 12:30 we'll be having our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, joining in to bring you the money hour. Stay tuned, don't you go away. Now moving on straight to other parts of the world as well. Macron attacks Johnson in boat crossing row. Well, yesterday was a day where we thought peace was prevailing. They were seeing sense and seeing a bit of headway, light at the end of the tunnel that, okay, we can work together. But Emmanuel Macron has reacted angrily to Boris Johnson's public call for France to take back migrants who reached the UK. The French president accused the UK Prime Minister of not being serious by making the call on Twitter after the death of 27 people on Wednesday. And his spokesman accused Mr. Johnson of double talk for saying something different from Mr. Macron's privately. The diplomatic row erupted after France withdrew a summit invitation to the Home Secretary Priti Patel. Now, Belgium, France, the Netherlands, Germany, and the European Commission are due to attend Sunday's talks in Calais, which Mr. Macron set up to try to deal with the recent surge in migrant crossing of the Channel. The UK's Transport Secretary Grant Shapps said France should re-invite Ms. Patel, telling that no nation can tackle this alone. I hope the French will reconsider their invite or inviting Ms. Patel. But do you think that they will? Yeah? Do you think that they will? That is another story for another day. I don't think so. And they find out that the UK is at a place where, now if these people cross the Channel, get to the UK, you cannot ship them to France. France will tell you they don't come from France. They are not citizens of France. They don't live in France. They've just used that as a pathway to get to the UK. So what is the way forward? Instead of us sitting together and planning together, because the first point is they stop them from entering Europe. But again, somebody will say, well, what about their foreign policies that has caused people, countries to be, destabilized, and therefore people think that there's nothing here to do, and therefore if we sit, we die. But if we go, maybe we might not die. Maybe we can. Some way, somehow, the Lepers theory now kicks into being. Now, what do you think? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on to other parts of the world as well. As I did say earlier on, it's making the rounds. But as shots as new coronavirus variant emerges, now nations ban flights as health officials hold an urgent meeting over a new variant in Southern Africa. Well, in Israel, there've been the first case from somebody from Malawi who has been at the moment is ill of tested positive to coronavirus and has got this variant. As to whether they're going to tell us all to go take another booster or booster 2 or booster squared or booster cube, yeah, we don't know. We're not sure about that, but we'll follow it all very, very closely. Don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now moving on straight to other countries. One other story from Europe. Okay, riot police in Turkey and Mexico have fired tear gas and smoke bombs at protesters calling on an end to violence against women. In the Mexican city of Guaymas, 3 people were shot dead in an apparent attack on the city's female mayor. And in the Turkish city of Istanbul, clashes broke out with security forces. There were also large rallies in Barcelona, Paris, and London to mark the International Day for the elimination of gender-based attacks. Now, Mexican media say the incident in Guaymas saw armed attackers stormed the city's municipal palace, shooting dead a female protester and 2 men, a government worker and bodyguard for Mayor Carla Cordova, who was in the palace at the time, said. Now, eyewitnesses told local journalists that they heard something. They heard something like a grenade exploding at the door of the building before gunshots rang out. The identity of the attackers and their motives remain unknown. There was another rally in Mexico City where crowds chanted, "Not one woman less," as they demanded an end to femicide, the international murder of women because of their gender. We are always protesting, and it shouldn't have to be this way. Violence needs to end at some point. Now, protester Laura Val told Reuters news agency, "We notice the authorities are not acting on it. For example, when we report it, that is the violence," she added. Now, police fired smoke bombs at a small group of hammer welding protesters who tried to grab their shields. At least 10 women and girls are killed every day in the Latin American country. And it's a very, very sad situation and a story there, you know. Okay, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds on the world front. As I say all the time, if it's making the rounds, why not? We will touch on it. Okay, so now 4 minutes to the top of the hour. Now, Australia missing campers. I did talk about this, I think, yesterday. The story comes in saying that a commercial airline pilot has been accused of murdering 2 elderly campers who went missing in Australia 20 months ago. Why? Now, Greg Lynn, 55, was arrested on Monday night after police helicopters descended on his campsite in Victoria. He was charged with murdering Russell Hill, 74, and Carol Clay, 73. There has been no trace of the pair since March last year. On Friday, Miss Lynn was remanded in custody to face Mr. Lynn was remanded in custody to face a court next year. Now, he was stood down as a pilot by Jetstar, a budget airline owned by Qantas, shortly after his arrest. The disappearance of Mr. Hill and Miss Clay from the Victorian Alpine National Park sparked one of the state's largest missing person investigation. Now, police allege they were murdered on the 20th of March, according to court documents reported by the Age newspaper. Now, they had used a high-frequency radio to call a friend earlier that day. During the call, the pair said they were setting up camp in the Wanangata Valley. Now, passers-by found their campsite destroyed by fire the next day. In a quote, they went on further to say, "Our efforts to locate the remains of Russell and Carol will continue," Victoria Police Assistant Commissioner Bob Hill said on Thursday. May their souls rest in perfect peace. And that's why I'm asking myself the question, what makes people behave that way? Because this is a pilot, a commercial pilot. So at least he's got a bit of goodie in there. All right, so it's not like desperate, unless of course he's been involved in something and therefore needs a bit of some funds, and might have decided to kill these people to rob them of whatever they had, unless he's gone cuckoos up there. But well, it is all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. And the story of Pen Sure continues. The mail tweeted out by a man claiming to be her associate told the WTA to not hype or personal affairs that was pertaining to the Chinese tennis star who alleges that she's been abused by one of the top officials in China. All right, let's now take a break. We come back, we go to Africa and look at some of the stories making the rounds there. My first question is, what will be the impact of this shutdown or lockdown or pause in travels from the Western world here to the Southern African countries. What is going to be the impact there? Well, some of the say it's obvious. I mean, looking at the COVID situation that we've all seen, it's not been a good thing when there are restrictions and stuff like that. But what do you think? Well, and do you think that we're going to be having a nice Christmas, or it's just a matter of time that we're going to see our people saying that, well, you got it locked down? Well, maybe. And then the other question that I'm asking this morning is, how come that when we say that there is a variant coming in from this particular area, so all well and good, we've spotted it that it's coming, this is the source of that variant, okay? Why don't we say immediately? Because we find out that, so immediately, anyone who comes in, I mean, we are stopping our flights in between, from to and from this country, but again, those who are already airborne, when they get here, have to isolate instantly. And I don't get it. I don't actually get it at all. Well, when you come on, I want you to share with me what your take is. Now, the numbers to call 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. If you happen to be in the US or Canada or the Caribbean area, is 0017183032737 0017183032737. You can text or WhatsApp at 0753-966-1744 0753-966-1744. For our Twitter handle is Starr Radio. You can email address is info@starradiouk.com. Enjoy this tune and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Slumber. Time to get up. Stand up for your rights. As the great spirits of Africa led our ancestors from time immemorial. And so, rise up, because the time is now.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Africa's my people, Africa my continent too.
to Starr Radio UK.
Well, something from the old Jedoublé and Boulay this morning. Africa, yay.
What is going on?
You know, when it comes to Jedoublé and Boulay, when it comes to rap, you know,
What is going on?
he was one of the foremost people who did rap music, you know. At the time, we didn't know that it was rap. When we're little, I bet you all remember that.
Now listen, yeah. Too much corruption for Africa. Too much mental slavery going on in Africa. Too much intellectual castration for Africa.
Okay, so don't you worry. I'll make sure that you enjoy the full end of that song at the tail end of the program. But for now, let's go to the African continent, as he has introduced us to Africa as well. But it's All Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and bringing the time now to 5 minutes past the top of the hour. So in the next 25 minutes, we'll look at some of the stories. But exactly at 12:30, we'll cross over to Kent, where we have our money man who is on standby to bring you the money hour. Okay. Now, interestingly, border shots at new coronavirus variant emerges. Now, what are the other African countries doing about it? Now, with UK and some of the other countries here saying that, well, we have to, approach cautiously. People have to quarantine and all the other mates there. Now, do you think that African countries are also getting themselves up? Because especially we don't have enough vaccines to go around. I don't know how many countries, how many citizens in Nigeria or in Ghana or in South Africa have been vaccinated as well, and they are saying that this strain is quite a deadly one. But we pray to God that it's not like that. That's the only thing that we can do, right? All right then. Now moving on to some other stories. The UK's decision, the UK's decision to impose restriction in South Africa's travel is disappointing, and the country remains open for business and tourism travel there as well. That's what the South Africans are saying at the moment. In a statement on the Twitter, Lindiwe Sisulu says South Africa will continue working with countries who are limiting travel to ensure that the best possible interventions are put in place. So far, the UK, Israel, Italy, Japan, and other countries are placing caps on travel from South African countries because of a new COVID-19 variant. Now, do you think that maybe other African countries should also say no? If you come into the country, then you have to be made to self-isolate or quarantine before you are allowed to mingle with people in town, so that we don't have that variant going to slaughter our people. What do you think there? It is already okay. But at this juncture, I've got Kojo, who is in South London, who has joined me. Kojo, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Archie. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You?
Well, we're doing well.
Great.
We don't want to be like Felix, who normally says,
he's running on. He likes running on. Yeah. He thinks I'm not sorted out properly. He's running on. So, well, yeah. Okay. Now, let's quickly have a look at this this variant, the new variant or strain of the COVID that has been discovered in South Africa. Not South Africa as a country, but Southern Africa, side of Africa. Yeah, my question is, how come that when we manage, because the scientists are very, very good and they observe things, they discover things quickly. Now, when we found things like that, then we allow people to come in. Now, what they've said is that, well, this afternoon, anybody who comes into the country this afternoon from that part of the world will have to be made to quarantine or self-isolate, call it that way. And then so we have that window where people can come in from last night till 11:59. So what are we trying to do? These people are going to come in and then infect people. Why don't we just say that, well, this is what is going to happen. So when these people come, we just match them straight to a particular place, let them stay away for 10 days before they are allowed to mingle with other people in the community. What is wrong with that?
That is the most practical way to do it. I mean, if you already look at some of the countries around, even some of our neighboring countries, countries like France have already actually cancelled flights.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. UK always waits and waits and waits and waits and waits and waits before taking immediate action. I mean, the only action they've taken is that they are talking about people being put in quarantine for how many days? 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, but if you look at the likes of even Kenya is already taking immediate steps. France has suspended all flights from Southern African countries. So all those flights apply to South Africa, Lesotho, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Namibia, Eswatini. So I'm not sure how, and they even are talking about 14 days. Some of the countries already talking about quarantine for 14 days.
Yeah.
But we always take the view that, okay, we have a relationship with this country. So we need to really still maintain that kind of relationship. But if other countries are stopping, even African countries, Kenya, all of them are putting a ban. So this morning, Labour Party is already calling for a ban. But the government is not doing anything to impose a ban. So it makes it so difficult, and people have already in the past accused them that, look, because you were slow in imposing restrictions and bans on travel, that is the reason why we have more than 140,000
people dying.
Yeah. But are they going to place a ban? We don't know. I mean, because this government changes its decision from time to time when there's too much pressure on it. There's so many U-turns. So we could be hearing a U-turn from Monday.
Maybe. It's most likely.
We will hear a U-turn, and maybe for Monday they will probably also impose a ban like other European countries have actually done. Even African countries have imposed a ban.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Should all the African, because this is a situation where we don't have the vaccines as a country, the continent. We don't have enough vaccines to go around. It's just a handful of people. I don't think about 10% of the people on the continent have been vaccinated. So can you just imagine if a variant like that comes in, where they are saying that, look, this is more dangerous than the first one, what is going to happen there?
Yeah, I mean, you've been talking about 10, just 10%.
Yeah.
And it's even been recorded now that most of the health personnel are not having even people who are even going to deliver the vaccine. Giving vaccines. And those people are desperate. The health workers in African countries, those health workers are desperate to have the vaccines because they think they are exposed. Unlike over here in the UK, we have a lot of health workers who don't want to even take it. But in African countries, the health workers are desperate
to take it, but it's not available for them.
It's not, So I don't really know because the UK see that they think they have a relationship with South Africa. They don't need to. They are UK nationals who have gone to South Africa on holiday and all that. But if you say you're going to place a ban, I'm sure those people will find flights overnight.
So it should be immediate. It should be immediate. They come in, you quarantine them, and then we know that we are okay.
And anybody who doesn't find a flight will be like the Australian Starr. Their own citizens were not allowed into the country. I think the pressure coming from the opposition will probably push the government to take
do a U-turn.
Slightly, better stance because the transport secretary who was talking earlier on.
Grant Sharps.
Grant Sharps, who was talking earlier on, was talking about they are still watching the situation. Do they want the situation to get out of control for him? Because invariably he makes a decision on banning.
Travel. Yeah.
That cannot be made by Javid.
It can't.
Make it. But they have to have. I think apart from all these meetings they're having, they probably have to have a Cobra meeting to try to see the way forward. Knowing that, I mean, the Cobra meeting must be had today.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. To also talk about the situation in the Channel crossing. After that failed diplomacy last month. It's a failed diplomacy. I mean, why would you put out a letter you've written to your counterpart? You told it to the world to see them. Then there is no meeting. You don't need to have a meeting.
And they're upset. They're upset. They say, well, we've run that meeting. It's not coming on.
Well, they are having the meeting, but they haven't run pretty
Patel's involvement in that.
Invitation, They did it instantly. That letter got tweeted. It's a failed diplomacy. I mean, it has to be accepted. I mean, you already established. I'm just trying to link the two. You already established in your run-up about the fragile relationship when it comes to these migrant crossings.
Yeah.
Where France will say, well, they didn't come from France.
Yeah.
They came from Belgium. So do you want us to send them back to Belgium also? And they get to Belgium to say they didn't come from Belgium. They came from Germany.
We push them to Germany.
And Germany to say that, actually they came from Poland. And Poland to say they came from
Belarus.
And Belarus to say they came from beyond the border. So where did they actually come from? Where we all know that every other route to these refugees have been shut by the UK.
Yeah.
And here is the case, they are only allowing family reunion. Any other route is shut. So how do you want these people to come? I mean, I was listening to a refugee this morning who was saying that he came here when he was 12. He started that journey from Afghanistan when he was 12.
Wow.
And they were showing his picture when he was 12. He was a tiny little skinny boy. And now he's a grown man. And he said he started that journey. But I think I hear constantly this thing being banded around to say that where are the women? Where are the young girls? But I think they don't understand the culture of those countries. If there are 40 people suffering, and out of that 40 people, there are 5 men, they will prefer the 5 men to go.
Yeah. It's a man's world there. It's a man's world. He's the breadwinner and all that stuff. So,
Exactly. That's how their culture is. That is that whole thing about Afghanistan not allowing women and girls to school. It's a kind of masculine society for them. So, and I think they don't understand this culture, because I hear people say, why is it always young men?
They think that the women should also. No, they won't allow them. I mean, these are communities where even some of them, that when you're going to shop or to the market, is a men who have to, if you are not in the company of a man, you are not allowed to go to. So people have to have that understanding that is what is going on there.
And I think they don't understand the culture. And some of them, they might have 5 men in the community, within the family. And they will think, one man is that might be the star for the family. So the whole family pulls together all the money they have.
Yeah.
All their investment into that one person.
Yeah.
Hoping that one
person will go and bring something or come and pull them. Yeah,
and come back and help them out. Even if he didn't manage to get all of them for a reunion, at least they think that is a beacon for the family.
Yeah,
that is the light that is shining in the family.
Yeah,
and that will be the person who will help the family in the long run. So if you look at a lot of these people, I've met quite a number of people from Iraq, Iran, and Syria, and you find a lot of them are always talking about their families they've left back home.
Yeah.
How they are desperate. Some of them are not desperate to bring them, but they are desperate to help and improve their lives.
Yeah.
So that is how those culture systems are run. So I don't know how these Macron, Johnson fight every now and then is going to end. I mean, let's put it this way. Would the UK accept French soldiers or French gendarmes or gendarmes, as we call them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gendarmes. Yeah. So the union is a gendarmerie, but they are gendarmes.
Yeah.
So would they accept the gendarmes to come and patrol somewhere?
I was thinking about that. I said, the French were thinking they want to use some cavalier means to be picking intelligence.
That is not workable in any country.
What?
You can't do it between Togo and Ghana. Will Togolese accept
Ghanaian please operating in their country?
In their country, or vice versa. The Togolese gendarme crossing over to come and patrol somewhere in Adan area because there are people crossing from Adan. I mean, it's not workable. And some of the things I've honestly seen on that letter, I'm not sure how it's workable because they want France to take the migrants.
Yeah.
And make them their own. And France said, no, these people only walk through our soil.
Yeah. They said they are coming, their destination is you. It's not us.
They're just walking through the soil. And some of, I mean, one of the guys that I heard that was talking, he said when they started the journey and going through several countries in Europe, he doesn't even know which country they were going through. All that he knows is that they are carrying them and bringing them somewhere. The parents have actually paid because the parents didn't want him to die. He was the youngest person in the family. He was 12. They didn't want him to die. They said no, the younger person shouldn't die. The rest of them, they've lived their lives.
Yeah.
He said the parents said they've lived their lives. They can't die, but they don't want him to die because
he should go out and have a better life.
He should go out there and they gave him to these people that he traveled with. He didn't even know them. He didn't even know where they came from. They were just traveling through places. He doesn't even know where they were until they got to France and they were about to cross over to the UK. And those times they crossed on lorries. And he was now told that they were in France. They are crossing to the UK. That was the only point he knew where they were. So, how the people crossing, they don't even know where they are. They don't know which land they are.
Interesting. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We got about another 7 minutes to run up the first bit, and then our money man will take over. Is looking at what self-assessment, self-assessment there. So just hold on, don't you go anywhere. But let's quickly just hop to the African. Okay, I asked you a question pertaining to what some of the the African countries should do How would you think? How do you think that South Africa, the South African countries, would take it if the other parts of Africa are saying that no, we need to halt transactions between us and you, or traveling between us and you? How would it feel?
It's a difficult one. I'm sure Southern African countries will find it very, very, very difficult. More especially when they have business interests in other parts of Africa.
Yeah.
So how are their businessmen going to travel? I mean, if a businessman is supposed to go on just a 3-day business trip, and he ends up in Accra, and he's being told you have to go to quarantine 2 weeks, 14 days. Will he be able to do his business? The answer is no. So it's going to be a very, very difficult time for them. And I think most of them are going to go back doing this online.
That's the reason I was going to ask you that. I mean, do we see that maybe transacting business has changed? I mean, forever. I mean, with this COVID, it's changed so that you know that I don't want to waste my time traveling, quarantining in a hotel, something. I mean, wasting that time. So I'd rather do a virtual whatever. But that the other problem with that is, assuming you want to go and check a project or you want to go and test a product. I mean, you want to see it, you want to feel it. So that means that they have to either ship it to you, and you know, look at the period of time that it has to get to you for you to assess it, and then you send it back and all that. So that is a bit of a reason. What do you think there?
It's going to be very difficult for people in business. I mean, we already know what happened in the UK between last year and this year when we're trying to reopen. I mean, business completely died down. I mean, there was nothing really happening. And people couldn't travel, people couldn't access their products, shipping was virtually non-existent. I had this friend who was buying from the UK who normally ships like a 40 probably in a year, buys 6 of those. But last year, how many did she buy? Just 1.
Wow.
She wanted to get more, but there wasn't a possibility, and she comes into the UK twice a year. She goes probably to China also once a year, and maybe to Turkey also about once a year. So she couldn't do any of those. She had to rely on other people to try to help her out, and that created a whole lot of confusion for her.
Oh wow.
Because some of the goods that were being sent to her, by the time she orders the goods, and she's waiting for the goods to be delivered, the wholesales just say we still haven't taken delivery of the goods.
Wow.
And it compounded this year with shortage of
truck drivers. And the situation that we're having at the ports as well.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that if at this end this is a suffering people are going through, business people, just take that and multiply it by 10 times. Then that is the real picture.
Yeah. Well, listeners, we've got just a couple of minutes, but let quickly ask Kojo one question here. Now, pertaining to the Ghana, the president has been traveling on this jet that costs for $14,000 per hour. Okay, it's luxurious and blah blah blah. People have been questioning why the president should do that. Now, this morning there was some information coming through as well that's talking about the accommodation. Now, when they come here, the hotel that they go to sleep in, where it's costing the state again up to about $60,000 dollars and stuff like that. Now, you an MP or one of a spokesperson from the government, the ruling government, has come out to say that all the travels, when it comes to the travels of the president, it should all be put in classified. And I'm asking myself the question: really? Is it because of classification? Because they want it classified, that's why he has to travel on a hired jet? And this morning somebody has spotted it and posted it there. So what is the classification there then?
I don't know what they want to classify. I mean, if Boris Johnson even goes on a private holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we know?
We know.
Yeah.
We know.
If Joe Biden goes on a private holiday,
we know all that.
We know exactly where he's gone. We know exactly how much he's spending. That is why Prime Minister Johnson was being questioned how he spent his holiday in a luxurious villa of a Tory donor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why is it that African countries want to hide that information? I can't get it.
I don't get it at all.
Is somebody planning on going to assassinate the president or something? No. I mean, if you hide it, I can't get it. It should be classified.
Mm-hmm.
American presidents travel is not classified. Even our closest neighbor, Nigerian President who always travels for medical action, is not classified.
Yeah, we know it before even he leaves the country.
I think the problem they have there, this is becoming a very bad press for them.
Mm.
And it seems not to stop. So the only way to stop it is somebody sitting somewhere thinking, an MP of the ruling government saying, the only way we can stop this is if we hide this information.
Mm.
Let's classify it.
Mm.
Why would they want to classify it?
Honestly,
if you think you're doing nothing wrong, then don't classify it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because it's become a bad press for them, and they don't know how to wiggle out of it.
Mm.
I mean, they're finding it so difficult to wiggle out of the whole thing because it kept rambling on, it kept coming on, and the opposition would not let it go.
Yeah,
because as far as the opposition is concerned, when they were in government, they did none of that. So why are you spending so much money to do this when you claim there is a presidential jet? And I heard the other day somebody also trying desperately to define what is a presidential jet. And I find it a bit it's difficult for them. An MP of the ruling government saying that the plane is an Air Force plane.
What are they talking about?
Air Force One in the US. Air Force One in the US is an Air Force plane.
Yeah.
But everybody knows that is a
president. Yeah.
It's serviced and maintained by the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And it's staffed by the Air Force.
Yeah.
There are security concerns.
Yeah.
So if Ghana Air Force is maintaining the flight, is in the same vein as happens in America, or even if in the UK or in Russia or in whichever country flies its own presidential jet, is all managed by their Air Force. So they were trying hard to say, oh, the plane is even for the Air Force. I said, what kind of trying to muddle the waters and it's not sticking.
They are trying to classify it. It's
not sticking. It's not sticking with the public, and it's so difficult for them. What is happening is that it's rice tack at the back of the presidency, and people who are struggling in the country, and they feel there is a new tax even coming on the scene, and they're going to be taxed more. And they think that you want to tax us more, yet you are spending a giant amount of money to fly the president around. That's what
meanwhile, we don't have the money to spend.
Oh, no, and that is what people are saying. People are saying you're imposing e-levy, yet you are spending 40,000 an hour.
Yeah.
Whether the plane is flying or not flying. If it flies to the UK and parks in the tarmac,
you have to pay for it. Yeah, you've rented it.
Yeah, so people are wondering, well, is this the best way to spend the money of the state?
Well, we hope to see. Maybe it will cause them to, think things through. Because we need to run up because we need to get our money man on as well.
So run up for this so that the money man can
also
about how to save money.
Okay. Kojo, thank you very, very much. We catch up later then.
Later.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see you shortly anyway.
Yeah. All right then. Right. Bye. Well, listen, that was Kojo D bringing you his speeches on various states issues that we've looked at this afternoon. But wherever you are, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. We're bringing you the Money Hour with our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, who is the CEO of JL Accountancy Services. And so stay tuned. Self-assessment. Over to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Good afternoon to you, Archie.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine, by God's grace.
Thank God.
Sunny Friday afternoon, so we can't complain.
See, we can't complain. We can go get some vitamin D out there, you know.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yes. We're having a look at self-assessment today. We know. I think yesterday I went somewhere and the person just entered there. I was following the person. The person entered the house and just the first letter that the person saw was self-assessment. Was like, why self-assessment? And the person said, and I said, well, maybe you are self-employed or something. But at the moment, the person is doing his own. I mean, working with doing a government job, so he's been employed. So virtually, I was like, how come now self-assessment? But I know that you are the expert there, so let me leave it in your court and let's see what you have to say about that, sir.
Right. Okay. So maybe that's a question that we can answer in the course of our discussion.
Yeah.
So it's tax assessment season again. Another tax year has ended. And we all know the tax year runs from the 6th of April to the 5th of April.
Yes.
So the relevant or the most recent tax year that we're looking at would be 6th of April 2017 to the 5th of April 2018.
Okay.
A lot of people who are required to do tax returns would have received some letters from HMRC by now, notifying them that they are expected to file a tax return.
Okay.
Yeah. So the self-assessment system is one that HMRC uses to collect income tax.
Okay.
Yeah. So tax is usually deducted from your wages, your pensions, or your savings. But some people have income that is not taxed at source.
Okay.
And so HMRC would usually send you a tax return to complete.
All right.
So we will look in detail as to who has to send a tax return.
Okay.
So yes, please feel free to stop me if you have a question.
A question. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So basically, you can send in your tax returns at the moment in two ways, either online or by paper form. If you're sending your tax return by paper, then it has to reach HMRC by the 31st of October 2018.
31st October.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you send in a paper tax return after the 31st of October, you would get an automatic penalty.
Okay.
However, if you are filing your tax return online, then you have up to 31st of January 2019.
Oh, online. Okay.
Yes. So the online deadline has a longer duration than filing by paper. Okay. Now, you have, if you file your tax return either by paper or online, you still have up to 31st of January 2019 to pay any taxes that are due to HMRC.
Okay, if you file it by the 31st of October, you still have until January 2019.
Until January, 31st of January 2019.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
To make any payments that are due to HMRC.
Yes, good sir. Please go on.
Yeah. So to answer the question, who must send a tax return.
Yeah.
So you need to send a tax return if you have income from self-employment that was more than £1,000.
Okay.
In the last tax year.
Mm-hmm.
So if HMRC have not sent you a tax return and you have a self-employment income more than £1,000, you have to submit a tax return.
Okay.
If you've got more than £2,500 income from renting out a property, then you need to submit a tax return.
Okay, that means you're talking about £1,000 and 2,500 per month
for the whole tax year.
For the whole tax year, if you make up to £1,000, we.
Yes,
Interesting.
so for the whole tax year, if you've made £1,000 from a self-employment job,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to submit a tax return.
All right.
Now, if you've got a property that you're renting out and you're making more than £2,500 in the tax year, you would have to submit a tax return.
Wow. Mm.
If you've got more than 2,500 in any other untaxed income,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you work in a restaurant or you do a job where you get tips or you get some commission, then you are required to file a tax return.
Just hold on there for a minute. You talk about tips.
Yeah.
Now, let's say I'm working in a restaurant and then somebody comes in and then gives me a tip. Now,
Yeah.
I don't record that money. A tip is a cash that has come to me, so I put that money in my pocket. Whatever I make, I'm the only person who knows exactly. Do I have to pay tax on that?
Well, that's the law. The law says it's income that you have earned, so you have to declare it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me how the government is going to know that
Okay.
you have received a tip or not. But the law says it's income that you have earned, and you have to declare it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, if your income from savings or investment was £10,000 or more before tax, you would have to get a tax return sent in. If you have income from dividends more than £10,000 before tax, again, or if this was over your dividends allowance,
Yeah.
you would have to submit a tax return.
Okay. And what is it? So what is so it's 10,000, that is a cap. Above that you have to.
Yes. So 10,000 is the 10,000 is the minimum.
Okay.
Yes. If you make profits from selling things like shares or a second home or a property that you're renting out or any other assets, what we call chargeable assets, and you've made a capital gain, you'd have to do a tax return. Again, if you are a company director, you would have to also submit a tax return. It doesn't matter whether you are making, you're being paid for the service that you're providing. You still have to submit a tax return. Yeah.
If you're a company director.
If you are a company director, yes.
Okay. So would the HMRC send you information or the reminder that it's time for you to do that?
If you are a company director, you would have to let them know.
Okay.
You would have to register for self-assessment. Let them know you have taken up this directorship, and therefore you would have to submit a tax return.
But let's ask a question here. Assuming the company that is just about a year old, and so if they've not even filed their first tax returns yet, So how can you do that? Or do you have to wait for maybe the company to file their first tax return before you also do that?
No. So long as the company is in operation, for the relevant tax year that we're talking about. So if from the 6th of April to the 5th of April the following year, which is in this case 2018, if you became a director, you have to let HMRC know. And actually, I think the exceptions are if it's for a non-profit organization.
Okay.
And also if you did not get any pay or benefits, like a company car, then you don't have to. But if you receive dividends, if you receive
dividends, you have to.
If you've received dividends or you've received a salary from the company,
then you have to.
Yes.
Okay.
You'd have to do that. Yes.
Thanks for that clarification. Please go on.
So if your income or your partner's was over 50,000 and one of you claims child benefit, then you would have to do a tax return.
Okay.
Again, if you have income from abroad that you need to pay tax on, then you also have to submit a tax return. If you lived abroad and had a UK income, you have to submit a tax return. Again, also if you were a trustee of a trust or a registered pension scheme, you have to declare this through a tax return. And then occasionally HMRC will send what we call a P800 saying that you did not pay enough tax last year. Usually this happens where you have had 2 or more employments and HMRC, your tax code has not been adjusted to take the right amount of tax.
Yeah.
What you get at the end of the tax year is a P800, and HMRC would ask you to put together all those income and declare that in a tax return.
Yeah.
Also, if you are receiving state pension and your pension allowance, the pension you received is more than your personal allowance, then for this 2017-18, which is 11,500, if your state pension is above that allowance, you'd have to submit a tax return.
Right.
Because your income obviously has crossed the basic allowance, the tax-free allowance threshold. And the state pensions are paid without any tax deductions. So you have to declare it and make the necessary arrangements to pay any taxes that are due.
Okay.
And then you also need to, as we've mentioned before, you need to send in a tax return if, for example, you are a self-employed person and you want to prove to claim any tax-free childcare benefits. You would need to file a tax return to be able to prove your income.
Okay.
Yeah. And so these are some of the times or occasions that HMRC would expect you to submit a tax return.
Okay.
And one thing that I would like to add is that the fact that you've been asked to submit a tax return does not necessarily mean that you have to pay tax.
Some money. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's about declaring your income. And then if out of declaring your income there are tax implications, then that is dealt with.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you one question here. Now, assuming I'm here, and then maybe my parents are in overseas, and they send me some money to support me. Okay. Do I have to pay any taxes on that?
No, you don't, because that is not earnings.
Okay.
Earnings is classified as something that you have remuneration. You've provided a service, or you've done something.
Oh, all right.
In exchange for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is family support that you are receiving. It's not taxable.
Okay. And if somebody should, if Mr. Tabiri, being rich, decides to give me one of his cars, do I have to pay, do an assessment on that and pay tax on that?
Well, if I gift you an asset or money or anything like that, that falls under the inheritance tax gift rules.
Okay.
You remember we looked at this some point last year. So that is a gift that I've given to you. There are tax implications, but it is not within that tax return. I don't know whether, if you remember, we looked at potential exempt transfers.
Yeah, I remember.
If you make any donation and you live beyond 7 years, then that is not taxable.
Yeah.
But assuming that I've made a generous gift to you, and God forbid, within 7 years I have passed on, then if that tax year falls within that 7 years, then you would have to declare that in a tax return.
Oh, okay. Good. And what of if somebody is lived or worked outside the UK and is not domiciled in the UK? Does the person have to pay any? Does the person have to do self-assessment as well?
So the person is a UK national.
Yeah.
But lives
outside. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll look at the domicile rules. If the person still has ties or connections to the UK.
Yeah.
If it depends on whether it's a temporal work situation, perhaps they've moved abroad for a year to work. They still have ties in the UK. They still maintain a home here.
Yeah.
They maintain a contact address here. Yes, then they will be classified as taxable persons in the UK. And so all earnings that they've earned abroad, they would have to declare them here in the UK.
Wow.
But obviously, where they have paid taxes abroad on those incomes, and the UK has a double taxation arrangement, will not be paying the tax twice, so they will get a credit for the tax that they've paid overseas.
Okay. Good. Please go on, sir.
Yeah. Also, if you receive a letter from HMRC saying that you have to submit a tax return, and you believe that based on your circumstances and the things that we've looked at, you are not required to, you can certainly call HMRC and let them know so that they can withdraw the letter.
Okay.
Because they usually issue these letters based on some other information that they might have, and on occasions they could be wrong. So if you feel you based on your circumstances you do not need to file a tax return, then certainly you can contact HMRC to withdraw the letter.
But let me ask a quick question from that point. Now, pertaining to the directors of companies, I mean, there's a company that I just set up. It's a new one. I've not received anything. Virtually everything is money from me that I've just invested. Okay. Now, do I have to tell the HMRC that I'm a director of this company, or they know it automatically? Maybe Companies House will feed them with the information to say I'm a director.
Yeah, they would know.
They would know.
They would know, but what they don't know is whether you're taking an income or not.
Okay, so I need to let them know that I'm taking an income.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when you become you start taking an income, then you have to let HMRC
know. Okay.
And you can do that. The tax return is means another way that you can let them know that you have this income from the company.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's good.
Some people who are in the higher tax bracket who pay tax at 40%.
Yeah.
Where they have given monies to, so they could be perhaps just employed people. So they may not be required to file a tax return. All their income is from employed sources.
Yeah.
If they are higher rate taxpayers, they pay tax at 40%. And they have given donations to charities. They can make a claim for some of the tax that they've made on those donations. So if you fall in that category, you can also file a tax return to claim back some of the tax that you've paid on the donations, that the gift aid donations that you've made.
Okay.
So these are people who might also want to file a tax return for those reasons.
Wow. Okay. Well, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, a favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The time is 12:55. This is a Friday morning edition of the morning show, and all this time we have Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, a renowned accounting organization. You have any issues pertaining to your accounts? You're talking about self-assessment or accounts of your company, whatever it is, get in touch with him, and they will do the same for you. Today we're having a look at self-assessment tax return. But we not got a few minutes to finish. What about this filing penalties?
Yeah, so once you get the tax return, if you don't submit your tax return by the deadline, then you get an automatic £100 penalty.
Okay.
So you have to, once you get the tax return notice, you cannot ignore it.
Okay.
You cannot ignore it. If you don't know what to do, then definitely speak to an accountant who would help you to be able to make the submission.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then you did talk about we were going to look at can people get money back from the HMRC?
Yes, people can get money back. So one of the instances is where I've shown with regards to people who are employed and have given monies, or higher rate taxpayers and have given monies to charities. They can file a tax return to claim some of the money back.
Okay.
Again, people like subcontractors who have taxes deducted in advance on their wages.
Yeah.
At the end of the tax year, they can, because those tax deductions are based on a flat rate percentage. So across board, whatever they've earned, they've taxed them 20%.
Yeah.
Without taking into consideration their tax-free allowance.
Okay.
At the end of the year, when you put everything together, and the tax is assessed, almost all of them have tax refunds, because now they can set off part of their expenses as well to reduce their income or their profit.
Yeah.
And that generates a tax refund. So there are several avenues to a tax refund. Because of time, perhaps we cannot go through all of it.
Yeah, God willing, next week we will try to continue from there.
We can go through it and look at the penalties as well in detail, because that is a very pertinent area.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would like to add is that if you are a self-employed person, or you are earning income that has not been taxed at source, it's your responsibility to let HMRC know that you are receiving this income.
Okay.
So for the tax year 2017-18, if you earned any on tax income in that year, you have up to the 5th of October to inform, 5th of October 2018 to inform HMRC.
Okay.
If after that deadline you don't do it and HMRC, get to you before you get to them, then they are likely to, depend on how cooperative you are, they may charge you some interest or penalties.
But if it's found out that, I know our time is over though. If it's found out that, look, actually you did not earn anything, but maybe either by ignoring the letter or this, and so you didn't find your tax, do you still have to? Will they still charge you for the penalty?
Yes, you will still be charged, even if you have zero income. Once you have received a notice to file a tax return, you will have to file a nil tax return.
Okay.
Yes, there's no excuse at all to ignore it. If you ignore it, the penalty is levied automatically.
All right.
And it will be very difficult to fight or appeal it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, if people are listening to us this afternoon, and those of you in the UK, of course, this tax, the whole thing is pertaining to the UK, United Kingdom and Ireland, please. So if anyone is listening to us and they need help, what should they do, sir?
Well, I am available to be contacted via phone or email. My phone number is 079-6124-8834. 079-6124-8834, or contact me via email at dan@gilaccountants.com. dan@gilaccountants.com.
Okay.
And I will be more than happy to assist them.
Yes. You just have to say Starr Radio UK, and you can get some discount on your consultation charges. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Tabiri, we want to once again say thank you very much for a brilliant time with you today.
You're most welcome. It's been a pleasure speaking to you and your lovely listeners.
Okay then. So you have a lovely weekend and catch up with you later.
All right, thank you very much.
Right then, bye for now. Right, bye. Okay, so that is Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. You want to get in touch with him? It's 079-612-48834, 079-612-48834, or you can email him. That is dan@gilaccountants.com, dan@gilaccountants with an s.com. Make sure you get in touch with him, and he will help you deal with all your tax issues. After all, you know what? He is the money man. That's why we call him the money man. He makes sure he puts money in your pocket.